I assume you're watching this video looking for a meal plan for carnivore, for a list of foods that are approved or foods that are not approved, for eating windows, meal times, the amount of food that you're supposed to eat, and all the required supplements. And if that is what you're looking for in this video, I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but I'm giving you none of that. But before you turn it off, let me tell you what I am going to cover. So much of what to eat on the carnivore diet is based on the context of your circumstances. And I think that's the one thing that we don't address enough is how individual this is for you. This is not Weight Watchers. This is not Beachbody. This is not even keto, where there's a list of macros and approved foods and all the things that you're allowed to do or the rules, right? I think carnivore is so much more open to that, and a lot of it is based on your current state and what your goals are. So what I am going to do is talk to you about what I eat and why, maybe a little bit of how I started eating what I ate and where I am now, and then also maybe some tips at the end of things that you could do based on your circumstances. I think the number one thing that I can tell you to do if you are starting a carnivore diet or looking to start it at all is just to get out all the junk. And you have to do that in whatever way is you're able to do that. For me, in the beginning, I was eating a bowl of ground beef with some, homemade taco seasoning and cheese and sour cream, and that was my taco bowl. And I did that for lunch 2 or 3 days of work for lunch at work. I don't do that anymore, right? Because in the beginning, I was just looking to get all the junk out of my diet. And that's the number one piece of advice I can give you in the beginning is eat as much variety of meat as you want. If you want to have chicken and pork and beef and shrimp and fish, all the different kinds of beef, bacon, do that in the beginning. If that's what helps you cut out all the junk and the sugar and the carbs and everything else, eggs. The longer that you do this, the more you will find out what makes you feel good, what satisfies you. I used to eat a lot of chicken, and every time I ate chicken, I just would sit there thinking like, I really would have rather had a steak. And I think over time, you will find not only what mentally satisfies you, but also what physically satisfies you and what's going to leave you feeling a little better. So it's more complicated than eat meat and drink water, because I think sometimes people boil it down to just that. And especially somebody coming from food addiction and from obesity and somebody who overeats all the time, you can't just tell me to eat until I'm full and I will eat too much. I could eat 5 pounds of steak a day, to be honest, and I would gain weight doing that. And so there has to be a little bit of limitations on that for me. But I think most importantly, you got to get the junk out. And in the beginning, I was eating eggs and cheese and all of the variety of cream, sour cream. I would take carne asada meat and dip it in sour cream, and that was really successful for me in the beginning because of the context of where I was. I was somebody who was obese, and I could eat a larger amount of food, a lot of variety of food. I could eat a lot of bacon, I could eat a lot of cheese, and was still able to lose weight because I had a lot of weight to lose. The longer I was on this journey, the more that I researched and the more my tastes adapted, I realized I felt better eating a steak than I did eating that taco bowl, as I called it. I also found that I wasn't as satisfied eating chicken or eating pork or other meats. I also found over time that I tended to get triggered by snacky carnivore foods. A lot of people can eat bacon and cheese and pork rinds, and those just trigger me to snack. So even though they are approved foods, I don't know why I'm doing air quotes. Who does air quotes anymore? But even though they were approved foods, they are things that definitely were not beneficial to me near the end. I could eat them on a regular basis in the beginning when I had a lot of weight to lose, but at some point I had to cut out the cheese to continue to keep losing. So I know that's a hard thing. Doesn't give you a lot of information, right? I'm not a sciencey person. I more just want to be able to tell you where I'm coming from. I really recommend that you do research on the science of it, right? My diet now in entirely consists of steaks from a grocery store. I think that is something that is affordable to me and it's sustainable to me. If you like organ meats, I think you should eat organ meats. In the beginning, if that is terrifying to you and what is sustainable to you is to eat some steaks and some chicken, then I think you should do that, because the first step is just to get off of all of the junk. And at that point, the longer that you do this, the more that you research, the more you're able to make adjustments and optimize things. There are people who have been doing this a very long time and have found a routine and found what works for them. And I think that the majority of us that are newer to this are still figuring it out, and I'm still making adjustments based on research. I'm still researching. I think the second most important thing I can tell you is just to start and to get going. And if you are waiting to finish researching or figure out the perfect meal plan and macros for your journey before you get started, then you're going to be continually researching, because this is also one of those things where there's so many different opinions, and sometimes that can seem overwhelming, but to be honest, I think it should be refreshing that this journey can look like whatever you need it to. If you like eggs, eat eggs. If you don't. If you're somebody who can afford and wants to eat all organic grass-fed beef, then I think that's fantastic. But you shouldn't not be on this journey because you can't afford grass-fed beef. I can't afford to eat grass-fed organic beef at every meal. So I eat steaks that are on sale from the grocery store. And I think that's one of those things where there's that quote that says, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. And I believe that so much, because sometimes we're looking for, do I eat the perfect balance of macros and ratios, and what's my fat to protein ratio intake? I don't know. Whatever the fat to protein ratio intake of a ribeye is, that's what I eat. And that might be different for you. That's the cool thing is, Chris much prefers to eat leaner cuts of meat, so he's able to eat more. He eats a lot more chicken, a lot more New York strips, and that's how he achieves his goals. And I'm a little different, where I'm able to eat ribeyes and still maintain the weight that I want to. And again, that's where the context of where you are comes into play. I use seasonings. There's people that use just salt. If you're coming to this not from a fat loss goal perspective, if you're looking for healing, for some autoimmune healing issues, you likely are not going to want to use the seasonings that I use. If you're somebody who's just looking for fat loss and doesn't deal with a lot of internal health issues, you can probably get away with a lot more as far as seasonings go and variety of foods. So I know that doesn't give you specifics. There are lots of people out there, and I mean this in a positive way, who will tell you exactly what to eat and what ratios are ideal. And they are very smart people. I think that there's a lot of context that comes along with this as well. And if you try something and it's not working, I think that's okay. And I think you can adjust as you go. I've had to make adjustments a lot of times. I've gone for months at a time with no cheese, and then I just decide, you know what, I'm happier if I munch on some cheese for a little while. And now I have done it too much, so I'm going to go back to no cheese again. Starting today, 30 days I'm doing with no cheese again. And I think that kind of helps me to mentally reset. So sometimes I add some more variety, and other times, like now, I'm going to give myself a good mental break to try to reset myself and go back to that one meal a day. I will do more talk on fasting in the future, but that's something else as far as what's your eating window. What should that be? I think more than anything, you should start with a 2 hour or 2 meal at most eating window. I think one thing that most people in this space can agree on is that nobody needs snacks. And your kids don't need snacks, and adults don't need snacks. And if anything, sticking to, a maximum of 2 meals a day, great. And eating a solid amount of meat at those 2 meals, and really truly trying to figure out if you're hungry for that second meal or not. And that's kind of where I started with 2 meals for a while, and then had ended up doing 1 meal a day. For me, 1 meal a day really helps me regulate my tendency to want to overeat. when I'm eating one meal a day, I can eat a lot of steak in one sitting and I feel physically full. And then I know I can't eat anything else for the next 24 hours. If I eat more than once a day, the minute I put something in my mouth outside of that one eating window, then I put a third thing in and a fourth thing in. And then next thing I know, I'm just mindlessly overeating. So for me, that 24-hour window is crucial for my physical satisfaction, as well as that helping to break that mindlessly overeating tendency that I have. It is getting dark. I think I'm losing my light a little bit, but I think I'm going to end it there and just say that, more importantly, I would suggest that you just get started. And I think sometimes people are really scared to not have positive results right away, that they're scared to get started. But more than anything, you just have to give it a go and make some adjustments as you go. If you're eating and you find, in the evening that you're really hungry, you probably should have eaten more to begin with. But I think, to sum everything up, find something that's sustainable and that is realistic for your life as a transition. Get off of all the junk. And then once you're in this place of a solid 30 days of no junk, eating meat, eggs, and a variety of carnivore foods, then you can work on optimizing and dialing things in. I take 0 supplements at this point other than salt, but you can find out for yourself at that point, what am I missing? What do I think I need? And play around with adding things into your diet to see how you feel. And that context of how foods make you feel is the most important part of this. If you like coffee and it doesn't affect you negatively, drink coffee. And if it causes you to have cravings, then maybe you need to cut it out. That's why I think that for carnivore, you're not going to find this list of foods that are allowed or not allowed, because at the end of the day, as long as you're eating a lot of protein, everybody who's carnivore is supportive of that. And anything beyond that is about, how does that food make you feel? If you find yourself justifying why you should eat nuts, even though it makes you feel terrible, it's probably not a good food, and it's probably more about addiction than the actual food itself, which is why I can't have any. So eat a lot of meat and make some adjustments from there. That's my best advice for what you should eat on carnivore.